So this is my car in 2021. Fast forward 4 years later, and this is now my car. So we got a different car, and this was my wife's car in 2021. After that, right? Fast forward 5 years later, and this is now her car. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Why is this guy making a video talking about cars that they used to have? Excellent question. So, before you skip, please hear me out. Because I need your help. Long story short, if you guys want the full story, leave comments. I do not mind sharing my story. It is an interesting one, to say the least. But I've been kind of dealing with schizoaffective ever since I was 15. I didn't know what it was. I just knew that it was, I tried unaliving myself at least a dozen times from the time I was 15 to 18. And whenever I turned 18, I just started working, getting money, trying to build my life, establish some type of worth, I guess, and it worked. My mental health from the time I was 18 to 20 improved dramatically. Still kind of struggled, but I was able to work, right? I met my wife whenever I was 19, and things were going great. Things were up and up. Like I haven't tried to do anything to myself. I stopped hurting myself in ways that I guess emos do. Things are looking up, right? But about that time, I started blacking out. I started having muscle paralysis. I did the first real thing that was like, okay, I need help. Something's going on. I was driving my car and I hit a curb, and I don't know what happened. All I remember is I just suddenly lost muscle mass, I guess. I couldn't steer, I couldn't drive, and I hit a curb, popped a tire, and I was like, well, that's not normal. I need to go see a doctor. It took them a year to even remotely try to figure out what it was. I had a sleep study done, and I was diagnosed with narcolepsy. I never really experienced stuff like that before. I remember, I don't know. I remember experiencing something like that as a kid, but I don't think that was related to narcolepsy. But the symptoms were just starting. They got worse and worse, and the narcolepsy is type 2 cataplexy. So that's kind of why it was really the cataplexy that got to me the most. But as time went on, it got worse and worse and worse. The symptoms started coming out more and more and more. Fast forward a couple years later, I was probably 22, 23. And things start kind of normalizing, right? My doctors at this point have been working with me for years, trying to help me live, essentially. I couldn't work. I tried. I would keep getting jobs. I would keep losing jobs because I could never, I would sleep 36 hours. Nothing would wake me up. My wife couldn't wake me up, nothing. I would set alarm in 10-minute increments, 2 hours leading up to the time that I needed to wake up to be at work on time. So it would be if it was 10 a.m., I'd start alarms going off at 8 a.m., 8:10, 8:20, 8:30, 8:40, 8:50, 9 o'clock. And at this point, if I didn't wake up by that point, I started doing alarms by the 5-minute increments. It just wouldn't work. I just could not wake up. Or the complete opposite, which is apparently not very well known, because whenever people think of narcolepsy, they think, oh, you sleep all the time, or you just fall asleep randomly. No, that's not the entirety of it. With me, a lot of it was insomnia. I would have a lot of insomnia, especially because of the narcolepsy. Schizoaffective. Sorry. I would have a lot of insomnia, right? And like I could kind of regulate my sleep. A lot of the medications I took was Adderall to help me stay awake, but the problem was getting to sleep a lot of the time. Whenever I couldn't get to sleep, which means if I try to go to work at that point, I'm running on fumes. I haven't slept in 24 hours. By the end of my shift, it's 36 hours that I haven't slept. That's whenever it got bad. Because at that point, my schizoaffective would, it would be bad. Even if I did manage to keep a job, eventually that cycle would lead to a point where, I would start getting paranoid. All my managers hate me, or, I wasn't the top performer at all of my jobs, but I did pretty good. I was, one of the top performers. I would probably be I remember at one job specifically, I was in the second best performer out of 100 people. And I would just have a bad day, right? I would show up a little bit late because I overslept a little bit. Because at this point, right, this is years later, at this point I've kind of got it under control. I've kind of managed it. It's not as bad as it was. But yeah, I still struggle, right? So I would show up maybe 5-10 minutes late. I would feel terrible. And at that point, right, is whenever it got bad. Because then I would start twisting those little tiny moments and thinking everyone hates me. My manager hates me because I was late. Or if I started messing up on the job, this job specifically was actually at Amazon. I was a packer, so if I started, say my performance is usually, I can do 200 units per hour. Suddenly I'm able to do maybe 150, 130, right? And then my manager would be like, hey, I need you to go help them on this area. Because they're kind of working slower. So I would be sent over because I'm usually a top performer, right? I'm usually able to help them out. So I would be sent over to kind of catch them up, and then on those days I just couldn't catch them up. My health was just bad, right? So my performance is also not 100% on that day. It'd be stuff like that where I'd be like, I really let my manager down. I really let them down, and now they hate me because they really counted on me to help him out because I'm usually performing at this, and whatever he wanted, you know what I mean? It would just get to me, right? And eventually I started getting paranoid, which, if I can't sleep at that point, turns into a full-blown, cycle. And this is in 2022, 2023 is when this happened. At this point, right, I've figured most of the things out, kind of working out the kinks, and just really that was my main focus, was how to keep myself out of getting bad with the schizoaffective with the narcolepsy. But I was still tired a lot, right? So I'm gonna be honest, I never figured it out. I never did. I kept going on and off with jobs for the next 2 years, and I couldn't do it. Eventually it would eventually get to me. I would either miss work too many times, so at that point I just kind of accepted, okay, well, I guess I'm just never going to be able to keep a job. But that in itself really messes with your head. You start feeling worthless and all this other stuff. Anyway, fast forward, right, where we are now. Me and my wife have kind of figured it out, right? Like, we accumulated so much debt from those years trying to just survive. Now it's 2026, and we've kind of figured it out. We've got a good system going. We're kind of building back. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've sold everything, just everything I own, just to make it. Like, not even 3 years ago, I was sleeping on the street. My wife was fine, but that's a whole story in itself. You know what I mean? But like, we're finally at a point where we're kind of making it. I went out and started my own business. I can manage that really well. I set my own schedule. I set my own hours. I am not that concerned about, you know, showing up late by 10 minutes, you know, stuff like that. That was really the only thing that helped me actually get through it, was eliminating everything that kind of led me into those downward spirals. And I've been working for 1 year and I think 4 or 5 months now, doing my own thing, which started out with me just from me, like, literally.
I stopped the food, boy. Where's the food?
Yeah, my daughter walked in. Yeah, so that whole business essentially started because I literally couldn't work. Really, like, where it got bad was wintertime. Like, I would get seasonal depression. So even if I kept a job, like, the longest I could keep it for was pretty much a year, right? Like, I would get the job in January, and the second December hit, or not December, but winter, right? That's when my health would, so that kind of happened. That happened a little early, to be honest, because of some other stuff that I won't go into. Like I said, let me know in the comments if you guys want to hear the whole thing, because it is juicy. I mean, it is some tea, let me tell you. But yeah, so I was just kind of like, well, I need money. I'm not going to go get a job at the start of winter because I'm not going to be able to keep it. I'm not going to put myself through that again, because I cannot deal with losing another job right now. So I started doing handiwork on the side, putting posts up on Nextdoor, so on and so forth, right? I mean, I grew up poor, so everything around our house, like, it was always me who basically had to do it, me and my brothers. So I learned a lot, right? So I started doing handiwork. I enjoy it. It's fun. It is physically demanding, but my issue isn't how physically demanding it is. It's more so following a rigorous schedule and long periods of work, right? So if I schedule my work for a couple hours at a time, it's fine. I can do that, no problem, all day long. So that's how it started, right? I just started doing handiwork. It started, taking off. It did pretty good. It did great. I started, I'm typically better at socializing than what I am right now. Because I'm kind of down right now. But anyway, it just did great. So I turned that into my own business, made it official. That's what I've been doing for the past 1 year and 4 or 5 months or so. But the problem that me and my wife have now is we both need a car. Our credit is not good, right? And then from her car dying, and then my car, we still have, so we didn't really know about gap insurance at the time. And honestly, her car ended up getting repossessed because the engine died on it. We were really struggling. This was in 2023. So we just never got around, like, our thinking was like, why are we going to keep up these car payments that we can barely afford on a car that the engine doesn't even work on? And it was a Hyundai Elantra. Essentially what happened is we had regular oil changes, all of that jazz, right? Like, we did good, right? Because to be frank, I didn't used to do that stuff. I never put in the money into it, and I had cars whenever I was 18 and 19 just die on me because I neglected them. So we kept it, and it died. The engine, essentially, those engines burn a lot of oil. Oil got into the engine, going to the hub. It's dead. We need a new engine. So why are we going to go make payments on that whenever we can't even afford to put a new engine in it? And it was relatively new. It was only, we had it for 2 years. It had 100,000 miles on it, I think. Maybe 130,000 miles on it, somewhere in there, somewhere between those. So yeah, honestly, we can't get financed. We have saved up money a couple times to purchase a car. And we did manage to purchase, like, junkers for like $800, and with the hopes of, them lasting at least long enough, so on and so forth. It didn't ever work out. So for the past like 2 years, me and my wife have just been renting a vehicle, which is not the worst thing in the world, especially because we use it for work primarily. So a lot of that money, while we don't get it in our pocket, it does kind of help at the tax season. We don't have to worry about the maintenance, all that jazz, right? So it's not as bad. But today, why I'm making this video and why I need your help is essentially, we've been renting a vehicle for 2 years, and the prices are about to increase from about $250, $300 weekly, which it fluctuated. I think the highest we paid so far is $450 a week, and by the end of the month it comes into like about $1,000 monthly. Some months were closer to $2,000, which is unsustainable, but it kind of evens out. That's a whole rabbit hole. But at this point, it is not financially feasible. It is not. They're about to increase it to, it's like $738 weekly. We can't do that. We need a car. We could, in theory, sell all of what we own again, and maybe get like $1,000 car. We don't have that much right now, to be honest. We could probably get like $1,000 car, and then the issue is, at that point, we're right back where we were, right? Like, that car's not gonna last long. It's not gonna get the job done. It's not gonna keep me working. The other option is to stop this, right? And we don't rent the car, and we just go get a job within walking distance. Well, where's that gonna end up, right? Now I'm working even part-time. Let's just say part-time. Having to walk to work as well. It's gonna come back to bite me. I don't see any way that I can sustain that. I especially don't see any way that I can sustain that while being, the father I need to be. Like, me and my wife would both have to go get a job, within walking distance. One of us would have to work opposite shifts, which there's really not a lot of options at that point. We're making around us, I think, on average, it's like $15 an hour is what we could probably get within walking distance. It's just not gonna work out. It's not ideal. And like, we would make it work. We absolutely would. We always do. We always have. We always will. God has been good to us, and God has always given us what we need when we need it. And I guess that's kind of the whole purpose of this video. We started a GoFundMe because we are actually finally getting approved for financing now. Everyone wants, like $5,000 down, stuff like that. So I started a GoFundMe to help us be able to keep going on the trajectory, which is, it has been nothing but good. Like, we've been going up and up and up, slowly rebuilding our lives, slowly paying down debt, slowly doing all that, you know what I mean? And I, to be quite honest, am terrified right now that we're about to go back down. I am so sick of going down. Like, I'm very sick of going down. I'm sick of it. Like, I just want a moment in my life of peace, where we don't have to worry about how are we gonna afford this next rental car payment. Do we need to go get jobs within walking distance? Do we need to, oh, can our family help us? No, they can't help us because everyone in my family's poor. Everyone in her family's also struggling. Like, I'm literally living with my in-laws right now, helping them with their mortgage because they're kind of in a similar situation. So it's a win-win, right? But yeah, so listen, if you guys are at this point in the video, check out the GoFundMe page. And if you can't, I get it. I don't expect anyone to donate, but all I ask really is if you can at least like or comment this video, or share this video, right? Maybe you can't help, but maybe the next person can, you know what I mean? And with YouTube's algorithm, it would help a lot. So this is kind of me, just one human being posting a video on YouTube, not expecting anything to really happen here. Just seeing where it goes and praying to God to help us out, yeah, thanks. Deuces.